Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Courtside with Coach Crist. Caught me with my mask down. I got it on now. Joined tonight with Justin Harrison, as always, my cohort in crime. And coming to you again tonight from the Gino's Pub here in Fayetteville. And so if it gets a little noisy in here, you'll understand why. We're in the dining section. We've got the family of 4 little girls over to our right, so that's probably going to get a little bit loud before it's over with. Anyway, we hope to have a lot to talk about tonight. We've been hashing out, talking about the different teams across our area that are having to shut down, not getting to play. Oak Hill's finally getting ready to open back up, I guess, next week, and they've been shut down for last couple of weeks due to an outbreak on their team, and kind of get close to home, so we know what that's all about. And I just talked to Coach Jackson a little bit ago, and he informed me, my son had told me that they were going to practice on Sunday because they had games coming up on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday of next week, but they're having a little trouble getting that okayed for some reason. I'm not sure why that would be an issue. I mean, it's not like you're going to practice right during church time, and the kids, they need to get ready. I mean, they haven't done anything for, they've been quarantined for 14 days, and going to start playing games on Tuesday. So to me, it would be wise to give them as many days as you could give them to get ready. I mean, Justin, we're talking before, that the requirement is that you have 14 days of practice before you're allowed to play. I don't know if that suddenly goes out the window, because of a quarantine or.
Because they haven't practiced in over 2 weeks, and
right.
Normally, like I said, supposed to get your 14 practices in before you're eligible, and then if you miss 7 straight practices again, you got to start all over. And I guess that rule has been abolished for the year.
I don't know that there is any rule. I think people are just making them up as they go. I want to welcome everybody to the show, Courtside with Coach Chris. Kind of explain to everybody what we're doing here. We're trying to bring a little attention to our local high school athletes and our local high school teams and our local high school coaches. We filter in and throw in a little bit of college interviews every now and then, and just people we can get that we think is people of interest. We try to throw on here and get interviews as well, but most of our focus is on the high school kids, and we're trying to again draw attention to them and their coaches and their teams. And, we hope that we can bring something of value to you. We try to get a show prepared every week that's halfway decent and people would be interested in watching and listening to. So we hope that you'll keep tuning in and keep listening. And while I'm on that subject, it makes me think that might as well do a little begging while I'm here. We can always use sponsors for our programming. It's not easy to do this stuff at your own cost. It makes it difficult. So anybody interested in maybe jumping in and sponsoring, we'd be happy to accommodate you. And we have a couple of different levels of sponsorship, and we can run commercials just like any other TV show or logos, whatever you want. We can do all that. So if you feel like you would like to support us and like to support our local high school athletes and our coaches and teams, then we'd be tickled to death to have you on. And again, we want to thank Gino's for allowing us to come in here and do the show from in here. We feel like it's better when we do it from a little bit of an atmosphere as opposed to a studio. It's kind of drab and boring in a studio. Here, at least we got people sitting around talking and eating and having a good time. So that's what we hope that you guys will do while you're watching us. Sit around and talk and eat and have a good time. But anyway, if you're interested in sponsoring, just get on Facebook or our website and let us know. We'd be happy to have you tonight. We've got a couple local coaches again. We've got Mark Gladwell, who's the head boys coach at Meadowbridge High School. We got John Mark Kincaid, who is the head girls coach at Midland Trail High School, and of course we have Rusty Udy going to be on with us in the last segment, and what we call the Rusty Nails It segment. We always like to have Rusty on, and Rusty gets around and sees what's going on in all these different games and teams, and he really is familiar with them and knows them very well, so he always adds a lot of insight to the show. Problem we're having now is finding teams that are playing. It's our big problem now.
We may have to move down to the middle school level. It
Yep.
seems like they've been able to play, and I haven't heard any problems within the local middle school teams. So.
Right? Yeah, I haven't heard anything from those. So yeah, that's a possibility. We may end up having to do that. We're doing a girls' game. I'll go ahead and let you know now. We're doing a girls' game Monday night. Oak Hill Woodrow Wilson will be bringing that game to you. We don't know after that, just because it's been so touch and go. Again, Oak Hill gets started back next week as that happens.
Found out today Midland Trail is now off,
Yep.
I believe, for at least 2 weeks.
Yep.
Has struck, I don't know if they have positive cases or just contact tracing. Not
Right.
sure with that stuff not
Yep.
being allowed to be released, but they've avoided it till this point. But now it looks like they're out for 2 weeks.
Yep, and we also, that brings us up to our other guest we have tonight, John Mark Kincaid, again, the girls coach at Midland Trail. We'll ask him about the COVID situation for his team, as well as, the boys team. Is it COVID tracing, contact tracing, or do they have cases? I know, not to talk about individual people, but I know my son had it. He got a positive test, and they were shut down again for 2 weeks. And so, kind of strange the way they do it, though. They shut them down from playing basketball for 2 weeks or going to school for 14 days or whatever, but they told us we had to quarantine for 7. So I'm not sure what the difference is. I don't know what I don't understand. I don't understand a lot of this, but again, I think if you you look at going back to school full time, 5 days a week with all the students in the building, you're asking for trouble, and we're getting trouble. And hopefully it'll ease up a little bit and we can get through the season. I think it's going to be tough because it seems to be getting worse instead of better. But we just keep our fingers crossed and hope we can get through and get some games in. So that'll be good for us too, so we can actually cover some games.
Yeah, it's really tough to talk sports and high school sports when hasn't been much going on.
Got a high school sports talk show, but there's no high school sports to talk about, so makes it tough. We might have to start getting NBA players on here. Sure, we'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
Also, we have our Athlete of the Week, and that, again, is sponsored by Gino's. And we got our Gino's Pizza Athlete of the Week. And this week's Athlete of the Week is from Midland Trail. And the Athlete of the Week this week for Gino's is John Paul Morrison. John Paul, I think we talked about this a little bit last week. John Paul had 8 3-pointers against Summers County. And he threw in 8 rebounds there. I forgot about, or didn't think about that, but he had 8 3-pointers and 8 rebounds. He averaged 15 points and 7 rebounds for the week, and he hit 13 threes for the week as well. And there's that Gino's Pizza we've been talking about. So you guys get a good look at that, and we feel your envy coming through. I mean, Justin's going to hammer that thing here in just a minute. But anyway, John Paul Morrison, we congratulate him for the award of being Gino's Pizza Athlete of the Week. John Paul will be hearing from Lori Tabbitt. She's the one that's kind enough to help us out with that. So he'll get him a nice certificate for a free pizza. And I don't know if he gets something from Tudor's or not. You used to get a biscuit, I think, from Tudor's and a pizza from Gino's. So and a nice certificate. So congratulations on being the Athlete of the Week. John Paul Morrison had a nice week last week.
Yeah, and we thought that could have been the school record. The old school record was 8 3-pointers, but Dylan Harper has the school record with 9. He set that about 4 or 5 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we talked about the season record, which Nate Hanshew actually got that record.
Right.
I guess it would have been about 2 years ago.
Yep.
Don't know the exact number on that. I think it was somewhere in the 60s. I don't know if he got up to the 70s or not. I think the old record was 64.
That's what I was going to say. I'm thinking the record was 64, so his obviously was at least one more than that, but we don't know. We can check with Hurricane Hardball Handshoe and find out what Nathan ended up with.
Got a big plaque on his living room, I'm sure.
There you go, yeah. Mike Goddard here just sent us an update as far as schedules are concerned. Of course, Greenbrier West at Midland Trail is canceled. That was scheduled for March the 30th next week. So that one's been canceled, of course, due to Midland Trail shutdown with COVID. And then March 29th, they've added Nicholas County at Greenbrier West. So Nicholas County just getting back into action here recently, and so they've added a game with Greenbrier West. So that'll be March the 29th. JV game starts at 5:30, varsity at 7 p.m. You need to get out and watch. I don't know a lot about Nicholas County, but you need to get out and watch that Greenbrier West team. Good basketball team Jerry Robertson's got there, and we've been keeping track of him. He's playing a heck of a schedule, and playing some of the better teams in that class, and hanging right in there with them so far. And he's got Tug Valley. He's played Tug Valley. He's played James Monroe. So he's toughened up that schedule a little bit because they got a good basketball team. So I think they're going to make some noise if and when we get to have a sectional, regional, and state tournament.
Yeah, a lot of people thought Singaway may be down this year with the new classifications. You had a lot of the bigger schools move up to AA, some move up to AAA, but Singaway's got a lot of good teams. I mean, got Greenbrier West, Crater Beckley, Tug Valley, James Monroe's pretty solid, and man, looks like they may be the cream of the crop in Singaway. They took down Tug Valley. Was that last night? 85 to 56.
Yep, by a pretty large margin. I thought Man had moved up to AA.
No, man, I believe Man stayed down in Singaway.
At first glance, the Singaway didn't look, because I think I had even made the comment one time, it looks like the hit tournament with Greater Beckley added. But now that you look at it with some of these teams, it's pretty good.
Well, the thing is, some of these teams, for the longest time, James Monroe, they were AA for the longest time, and somehow they were able to
drop down.
They were dropped down. Man, for the longest time, had been AA in the last few years. They dropped down to Singaway.
Yep.
And Tug Valley won a state championship in AA, and then came down and won one in Singaway too.
Yep. So some good basketball teams there, and like you said, 5 or 6, 7 of the best teams probably Singaway, AA together.
A lot of them down here in Southern. We didn't even talk about the ones up north with Williams Central, and Williamstown's a pretty solid team who Greenbrier West took down about a week and a half ago.
Yep, and a close one, we might add. It's that class is really loaded. Now, like I said, Singaway, AA, both some of the best teams, I think, and either, combine those classes, that's some of your better teams. And so that's going to be interesting when that unfolds.
Especially, like I said, this could be an interesting, if they're able to have hopefully everything maybe calm down by then, but who knows with the state tournament, because you got that extra day. Now the state tournament starting on Tuesday this year instead of the normal Wednesday with that extra class.
Yep, so it should be interesting. And again, like I said, if you hadn't got a chance to see the Cavaliers, you need to check them out because I said that's a pretty good basketball team and one of the better teams. Like you said, there's probably 4 or 5 elite teams there that are head and shoulders above the other teams. There's still some other good teams, but those 4, 5, 6 teams are probably a major step above the rest of the teams, and Greenbrier West is one of those teams. So if you get the opportunity, you need to check them out. So you can go over on the 29th and watch them play Nicholas County. I don't know.
They're playing. Well, they play. We got our guest coming up. Do they play Meadow Bridge tomorrow? Is that on the schedule?
I believe it is on the schedule.
So,
yep.
Not really short. Meadow Bridge. I believe they've only got to play the one game. They defeated Midland Trail last week.
They're like 3-2 right now.
So
they played Summers County back-to-back nights.
Okay.
I think, and they also they beat Midland Trail. So. And then they lost to James Monroe.
It's a very good team.
Yep, and I forget the other loss, maybe Richwood. Richwood, I think, beat them by a point. So they're 3-2 on the season. So they, and they got started playing late. They didn't get a start.
And that's a lot of games piled into a week and a half period.
Cramming them all in together. And then before they could even get started, some teams started falling off. So hopefully these people will hang on and we can get some games in. All right, let's get us a quick break in here. And when we come back, we're going to get Coach Gladwell on the phone with us and talk to him a little bit about the Meadow Bridge basketball. We're also going to, after we get finished with Coach Gladwell, we're going to talk a little bit about the Associated Press high school boys poll and the girls poll. Read that off to you and let you know who's wearing the Associated Press polls, and talk a little bit about that. We won't spend a lot of time with that because we want to get our other guests on and have plenty of time for them to talk as well. So let's get us a break in, and we'll come back and have Coach Mark Gladwell on with us from the Meadow Bridge Wildcats. You're listening to Courtside with Coach Crist. I'm Greg Crist along with Justin Harrison. Watch it on Roku channel, Facebook Live channel, and it's the Courtside with Coach Crist channel. We have our own dedicated channel to it, so you can tune in and watch that way. Channel 5 in Lewisburg will be on there, Suddenlink until 7:30. So that's when Greenbrier East boys basketball kicks off, and they show all those games. So that'll be coming on at 7:30. All right, get us a break in. We'll be back after these messages. Welcome back to Courtside with Coach Crist, Greg Crist, along with Justin Harrison. You're joining us here on the Roku channel, on Facebook Live, and on Southern League Channel 5 in Lewisburg. We appreciate you joining us, and Justin and I try to scarf down a quick piece of pizza there between the breaks. If you notice that the whole pizza that we had now is dwindled down to about 2/3 of a pizza. So we'll be working on that throughout the show, and we appreciate Gino's hosting us tonight. Allow us to do the show from here. We are joined now by Meadow Bridge head coach Mark Gladwell, and Mark, a longtime friend of mine and coaching adversary, and now doing a great job still over at Meadow Bridge. Coach Gladwell, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. How's it going over at Meadow Bridge?
Well, it's going pretty well. Thank you guys for having me on.
No problem.
We had that COVID break for us was kind of right at the start of the year, and I'm thinking now with all these other cancellations that may have been a blessing in disguise for us.
Yeah.
We were hoping now that we're.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We're in the swing. I'm hoping now that we're kind of in the swing of things, we won't have any more issues with it on our end. Is what I'm hoping.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. How you guys faced it at the beginning of the season. You got it out of the way, and now it seems like everybody else is having their issues with it. We just got word before we came on the air that Midland Trail is right now. The boys' team is shut down for 14 days. We don't know about the girls yet, but we'll talk to John Mark here in just a little bit. But we do know that the boys' team is down for 14 days. Oak Hill just now getting ready to come back next week after a 14-day shutdown. So maybe, like you said, maybe it's a blessing in disguise to go ahead and get it early and get it over with, and hopefully it won't come back. That's the hope. Get it done and be done with it. You guys, and you can correct me here if I have any of this wrong, but you guys are 3-2, I believe, so far on the season. You had a big win over Midland Trail last week, and you guys seem to be having things heading in the right direction.
Well, yes, we are 3-2, and that win over Midland Trail, that's a huge game for us.
Right.
It's a Fayette County rivalry game that our kids are always up for, and your Trail always plays hard.
Right.
And we were fortunate. We played really well, and we were fortunate to come out with a win there. Quality win for us for sure.
Yeah, we watched. We've seen the Midland Trail team play. We did one of their games. A pretty good basketball team, so that is a nice win for you guys. What's coming up this coming week?
Well, tomorrow we go to Greenbrier West, which will be a huge challenge for us.
Yep.
Very athletic. They got lots of length and, push the ball and love to press. So we have our work cut out for us there. And then we go up north on Saturday to Payton City in the HIT tournament.
Gotcha.
We're always excited to be part of the West Virginia Hometown Invitational.
Yep.
It's a big deal for us, and Payton City has a lot of basketball history. I like for our kids to see schools like that.
Absolutely.
And it's just a good experience for them. And next week, we got Montcalm, and now we got an opening now with we were supposed to go to Trail.
Right.
I think next Friday, but
right.
I don't know what's going to happen now. So.
Right. So do you guys, and I know you probably haven't faced a lot of this yet, but do you guys try to, when you have one like Midland Trail is going to be out, do you try to find somebody to step into that spot, or is that right at this point impossible?
Well, I'm trying to find somebody there. It's almost to the point that it's going to be impossible. If I can't get somebody on that day, I don't think it's possible for us to reschedule a game. We have most weeks where we had to move 5 games to start the year. We already have 4 games,
right.
and which is too many, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
I want the kids to play and have some fun. So.
Yeah, you do, but you always got to look out for their safety and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I said some of this sometimes. If we were talking about Oak Hill earlier, they're not going to, so far they haven't okayed them to practice Sunday, but I said they've been off for 14 days, and if they don't let them practice Sunday, basically they're going to have Monday to prepare, and then they play 3 games that next week, and that can't be real safe. I mean, you don't, the kids are young and pretty resilient, but at the same time, you don't want to risk injury to them because they're not physically prepared. I mean, injury can happen any time, but you can do some things to hopefully help prevent those. But anyway, your team now. I'm not going to lie and say that I know all about your team. I know some of your kids, but talk a little bit about your team and some of your leaders and who you guys rely on, and just what kind of leadership they have and what they bring to the table for you guys.
Well, we're fortunate. We have some excellent senior leadership. Got 2 seniors that are in the lineup for us. One's Hunter Claypool. He kind of plays the small forward spot for us, and the other is our power forward, Logan Hatfield. And both those guys have really stepped up. They've kind of, they've shouldered the load on the court with the scoring, and Hunter takes a lot off our guards with his ball handling from the small forward spot. And they've just done the little things for us so far for us to be successful. And they're also leaders in our locker room. Those guys. Multiple sport athletes, and these young guys kind of look to them for guidance, and they do a good job helping them out. And so far they brought the team together well, and hopefully it'll stay that way.
Seems like Hunter Claypool's been there for 8 years. Seems like that name has been around forever. So you got some guys that are obviously recognizable. Describe your team just a little bit. Like I said, we haven't seen you play yet. We hope to get over and do a game. But describe what type of team you have, what type of personality your team has, and what type of team you want to be when the season's over.
Well, we try to push the ball as much as we can. We want to play fast. We want to try to pressure folks as much as we can. We'll do some full court stuff and some half court traps to kind of speed people up. And we just look for the kids to play a system that they're going to enjoy. Of course, winning is the ultimate goal, right. But we want to have some fun, while we're trying to compete.
How deep are you?
Well, I've been playing 7 kids, pretty good minutes. I'd like to have another one. I think I've got a kid that hopefully will get back into the swing of things for us and make us 8 deep. But we've been pretty fortunate so far to be able to get through these games with playing 7 guys big minutes.
Yep, that's good. About your and again, I'm not familiar with all these things. So much has changed over this past year. What's your section look like? Who do you have in that section?
Well, we have a very tough section. We got you got Richwood, then you have Webster County and Greenbrier West. That's pretty tough.
Well, we were talking earlier, initially when you looked, we looked at single A, we thought, well, this is like really the hit tournament, but you got Greater Beckley in there. But then as you kept looking at it, you start seeing Tug Valley and you start seeing some of these other teams in there, Williamstown, and that single A is pretty loaded. And, Greenbrier West, is one of the premier teams in the single A. So, yeah, it's not an easy section by any means, but I think, you guys, like I said, you guys get better and better each game. So maybe by that time of the year, you'll be ready to roll in there and take that section.
Well, we're hoping to have a puncher's chance. That's all we're looking for.
That's all you can ask for, isn't it? Got one last pressing question before I let you go. And if you don't feel comfortable answering, you don't have to. But I just want to ask you, and I don't know why I want to ask you this, but it's just something I like to ask is, what's the most useless talent that you possess?
Useless talent that I possess. Oh, Lord, there's probably a whole bunch that my wife could come up with. I don't know. I guess my most useless talent anymore would probably be, I used to be a bit of a runner, but I definitely don't utilize that talent anymore. So
I can remember anytime you went out driving around, you'd see Mark Gladwell running somewhere. I said I've never seen anybody. Him and Steve Keenan ran like Forrest Gump, both of them.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, Mark, we appreciate you, buddy, and we're going to let you go. Wish you good luck the rest of the way, and hopefully we can get over and cover a game or two of you guys. Stay safe, stay COVID-free, and we'll be watching your scores, buddy.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate y'all having me.
All right, Mark, enjoyed it. Mark Gladwell, head coach of the Meadowbridge Wildcats, and Coach Gladwell does a pretty good job. He's always done a good job with those guys, and he'll be in there. He'll have a shot. And like I said, that daggone single is tough, man. You got some good teams in there, so getting out of your section is going to be going to be a
You
chore.
got Webster County, who's technically
Yeah.
the defending state
Right,
champions,
right.
2-year defending state
Right.
champions.
Yeah, and awful good team. Yeah, and I don't know how good. I mean, I've heard they're pretty good this year. I
Yeah.
don't know exactly how good, but I've heard they're pretty good. So, yeah, that going. Tough section to be in. So, all right, that's Coach Gladwell. We appreciate him fooling around with us there a little bit. I'm not going to ask John Mark what his most useless
We'll be here till
skill
9
is.
o'clock.
Oh, yeah, because he'll never get done talking. So he'll say he's the only person who knows that bent an aluminum softball bat over his head. He can do that. I'm not going to name some of his other talents.
Some good stories I'd like to hear.
Oh my
again.
gosh, I've seen some things out of this guy that most people wouldn't
The
believe.
after-hour show.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. What's Bill Maher
What's the
do?
one about the sandwich?
We'll hold off on that one too. All right, let's get a break in here and have another bite of a pizza. If you can see this pizza on here, that's what you get when you come to Gino's. Great food over here. We appreciate Gino's letting us come in and do the show. Great atmosphere here, fun place to be. So if you're hungry for some good pizza or good sandwiches, come on out here. Good wings, got a little bit of good everything. So come out here and enjoy it. All right, let's get us a break in. When we come back, we'll get Coach John Mark Kincaid from the Midland Trail Lady Patriots on with us and see what's going on over there in Hico. So stay with us. We'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back to Courtside with Coach Crist. I'm Greg Crist along with Justin Harrison, coming to you live tonight from the Gino's Pub here in Fayetteville. And we appreciate Lori Tabbitt and Gino's for allowing us to come in and do the show from here. And as you can see on our table, we're enjoying a nice slice of pizza. And they got all kinds of other good grub here, too. So if you're looking for some good dinner, come on out here and enjoy it, because it's got some good stuff here going on. We're enjoying it ourselves. We are happy to be joined now by Midland Trail girls head coach, lifelong friend of mine, John Mark Kincaid. Coach Kincaid, and he was nice enough, by the way. He's also the baseball coach over there to pull away from baseball practice long enough to talk with us. So we appreciate you, John, and we appreciate the job you do and the work that you put in with the youngsters in this county, and you have for a long time. So we appreciate you being here, and let's get right to it and start talking about these girls basketball players you got right now. You are, if I'm reading the record correctly, 6-0, and you seem to have everything heading in the right direction.
Yeah, we're getting better. I keep telling my assistant coach, Travis Moeller, I was telling him today, I said, our bench should start. I was worried about our bench beginning the school year, or started practice. They just weren't ready.
Right.
Starting five, had experience. They just haven't played varsity basketball.
Right.
But we're getting better every day. Our best 2 games have been the last 2 days. So
right.
We're getting better.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's all you can ask for is to get better. And we were over and covered one of your games there about a week or so ago, and noticed that you did play 7 or 8, 9 players that night. So looks like not only are you getting better as a team, but your depth is coming around as well. You guys, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, it's getting experience is painful. I mean, the first few games we kind of struggled, but your goal is to win the ball game, not win the third. So
right.
We played a lot of people.
Yeah, you guys. I was impressed with some of the people you brought off the bench that maybe I don't know, were just as good as your starters. So that was encouraging, I'm sure, for you guys in the game that I saw. You're 6-0 right now. I haven't really looked at your schedule too much, but how's the rest of the schedule look?
Hopefully we'll play tomorrow night. That's a big game for us to play Herbert Hoover.
Herbert Hoover.
They kind of mirror us. It'll be a good game, but I'm just hoping with a lot of COVID hitting Midland Trail right now, Coach, and it's 50-50 we get that game in.
Well, I was going to ask you. Right, I was going to ask you. I know the boys' team is shut down, but as of right now, y'all are still on as far as you know right now.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay,
but it's it's hitting hard up there.
Yeah, well, we'd heard that there were some cases and that the boys' team was going to have to shut down, and I think it's like that everywhere. Everybody's having problems right now, so hopefully it'll stay away from you guys, and you'll be able to get your games in. Is that game tomorrow? Is it at home or away?
It's at Herbert Hoover.
At Herbert Hoover. Okay.
Then we play Independence Saturday.
Okay. Herbert Hoover's a sectional opponent. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's probably for the number 1 seed, I'd say, in our section, the way things are looking.
Awesome. I know coaches don't like to single out players and that sort of thing, but talk about some of the players you have on your team that are your leaders and people you look to to guide your team, or when you need a bucket, who do you go to? Talk a little bit about your kids. And again, I know coaches don't like to do that because they're always afraid of leaving somebody out. But we want to hear about who's the ones that lead your team. And if you need a bucket, who do you go to? Who's the person out there on the floor that's your coach on the floor?
Well, she gets aggravated because I don't know how many times she'll be open, and I'll say in practice, I'll say, you got a 1,000-point scorer wide open, throw the ball. And she's going to shoot it, man. Emily Dickerson, shoot it. She,
right.
Everybody's got roles. I was telling her dad, if we're going to beat Herbert Hoover, you just need to let it fly. I think she's, hard to believe. I think she needs to shoot more.
Right.
And without hesitation. But, man, she's just a scorer.
Right.
And that's why I'm trying to feed the ball into Megan a lot, because I keep telling them that Emily can sniff a shot. I don't have no problems finding her shot. She's going to find it.
Right.
But Megan Gill's starting to come on. And she's got a lot of potential to be go to that next level. 6 foot. She can dribble, shoot. Her leg was bothering the first 3 or 4 games. She kind of slowed her down, but she's starting to come on. I know the Tech coach was really impressed with the last game that the team won.
She had a good game when I was up there. I thought she played really well. She blocked a bunch of shots, scored 15 or 16 points, and just dominated the girl inside. She didn't have a chance of scoring in there against her.
She's a real nice kid. If I can just get her just a tad bit meaner, she can. You know how I like meeting players, Coach.
Yep.
A tad bit meaner, she'll take off, man.
Never saw a hatchet job you didn't like, huh?
That's why I take it 5. You always finish a game with 4, I'll tell you what, you're talking about that Joe Stevenson. Man, she's tougher. She's tough to get in that.
Yep.
She's just mean. She's tough, mean, physical. She's came on really strong. And she's a leader. She's a quiet leader. She don't say much. But, man, her play is speaking for itself.
Right. But
I got 2 new starters I think is doing really well, too. Mackenzie Kessler, every game, I was telling her at school today, I said, Mackenzie, you're getting better every day. She had a great game. She's just very coachable.
Yeah.
She's always in the right spot. She's been coming on. And me and Knuckles has played her 2 best games last year.
Well, sounds like you got these guys headed in the right direction, man. We're looking forward to doing another game of yours. I mentioned earlier that you were coming from baseball practice, so you're the baseball coach as well. How hard has this been with the basketball season rolling on into March and April, and you're still having to try to do baseball too? That's got to be hard.
It is. Coach Jeff Eads he's saving me. He's out there getting them started. Now, days like today, I can go straight from basketball to baseball. There's sometimes we have them both days.
Right.
But half my baseball team plays basketball, so
yeah. When do you start playing games, baseball games?
The 13th of April is the first day we open up with. I think you're allowed to start on the 12th.
And when is your girls' sectional tournament?
It's the 14th.
Wow.
So I don't know.
It could be a mess.
All these quarantines and stuff, them first couple weeks might be wiped out anyway.
It's going to be tough.
Not looking good.
No, it's going to be tough. But I keep saying this over and over. When you throw everybody back into school all at the same time 5 days a week, what do you expect's going to happen? It's not like it's rocket science. You got to figure it out. You know what's going to happen. So
you just throw them all in there, Greg, and then you throw away the map, and then you're like, well, I don't know why are they getting all this stuff.
Yeah, I wonder why it's happening. I always said, I said this back last spring. I said, just because we ignore it and act like it's not here, don't mean it's not here. And that's what we were trying to do. Just ignore it, and it'll go away. But
there's people frustrated that when they was going 2 days a week, these small, it's better to space them out and stuff.
Right.
It was working. I don't know why we expected it.
That's what Justin and I have been talking about. That was working. Why change it? Just get this school year over with. Let them play ball, finish out the year, and be done with it. But I don't know. I don't understand. So, but anyway,
I just feel for the senior. Actually, I feel for all 4 classes.
Yeah.
Like baseball season, if it gets wiped out, that's 2 years.
Yeah. 2 whole years.
2 years they got wiped out. It's crazy.
Yep. Yeah, and it's sad for these people that'll be graduating if they don't pass this rule where they get to come back. Even if they do pass that, some of them's not going to be able to come back. And even if they pass that, it's still going to be bad for a lot of them because they're just not going to get to play at all in that senior year. It's going to be tough on them. So, well, listen, we appreciate you joining us here for a little bit, and we look forward to seeing your team again. We'll be out to cover another game here before long if we get to play, and we hope you keep rolling along, man. 6-0, keep it up.
We will, bro. Hey, you need to come check out the baseball. We're going to be good. You need to come check it out.
All right, we're planning on doing some baseball games, covering some. So hopefully,
calling man hand shoes, it's a chore, but hey, I think.
We got to come up with
he did an awful job, man. He left things in good standing. Man.
Oh yeah, they did. He did a good job. They were.
Awesome job. About time he does something good.
Yeah, we call him Hurricane Hardball Handshoes. So let's come up with something for John Mark Kincaid. So yeah, we'll get over and do a baseball game. We're planning on doing something this year, so that'll be on our list. That'll be on our bucket list.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you later.
All right, John. Good luck to you the rest of the way, man.
I appreciate it.
All right, talk to you soon. All right, that's my old buddy John Mark Kincaid coming to us from over at Heiko. He's getting on the baseball as well as the basketball, so he gets done with, I don't know how he does it. He gets done with basketball practice, goes right straight down the baseball field. that's got to take its toll on a man after a while. And
Probably got to be at school by 6:30,
Yeah.
6:45 in the morning.
getting home at 7 or 8 at night, and this season running into each other like that's going to be a disaster. Because not so much for big schools, but schools like Midland Trail, where probably half of your basketball team plays baseball,
Yeah.
and those guys are going to be walking out on the field in the middle of April trying to play, and they're going to have a month to play before you know what I mean.
I wonder if some have been practicing both.
I don't know if they're allowed to do that or not. I don't know what the rules are on that. I'm not sure. I know if I was the basketball coach, I wouldn't want my guys practicing baseball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they can go down and throw a little bit, but that's about it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. You don't want them out there running and sliding and all that
No.
kind of stuff. So I don't know how they're doing it. What a mess. This whole year has been a mess. Just like we said, why couldn't you just get the year over with?
well, you're worried. I mean, you wanted kids in school 5 days a week because they get more education. Well, now they're getting less education.
Yeah.
And you're quarantined for 2 weeks.
Right. Well, I said, what's worse, going 2 days a week and then 3 days virtual consistently every week? That's what you're doing, same thing over and over and over. Or going 5 days a week for a week and then being like Sammy. He went for I think 1 week, maybe 2, and now he's been off for 2 weeks. Which is worse? I know which one's worse, and I still for the life of me can't understand what the strategy was there. So, but anyway. Not my decision, so I can quit griping about it. All right, get us another break in here. When we come back, we'll get Rusty Udy on with us, and Rusty, of course, his segment "Rusty Nails It." And I don't know how much basketball Rusty's been able to take in here in the last week since we talked to him last week or not. I don't know. Talked to him briefly today, but I didn't really get to ask him how many games he's got to see. So
He was supposed to go over to the Meadowbridge Trail game. I'm not sure if that ended up happening or not. So.
Well, we'll find out when we get him on here. So let's get a break in. When we come back, we'll have our Rusty Nails It segment with Rusty Udy. And if we have any time left, we'll go over the Associated Press. We might do that before we start talking to Rusty. But Associated Press's power rankings that they have out for both girls and boys. We may not read it all because it'll take too long. But we'll go over top 5 or 6 anyway. So stay with us. You're watching on the Roku channel and Facebook Live. We appreciate you joining Courtside with Coach Crist, Greg Crist, Justin Harrison. We'll be back after these messages. Welcome back to Courtside with Coach Crist. I'm Greg Crist along with Justin Harrison, and tonight we've talked to Mark Gladwell, the head coach at Meadowbridge. We've talked to John Mark Kincaid, head girls coach at Midland Trail. And now we're up to our favorite segment of the night, and that is the segment we like to call Rusty Nails It. And Rusty, Justin and I were talking before we got on with you that I don't know how much sports there is to be watching out there right now. So have you been able to see any games anywhere?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one thing about, having video productions out there is that you can actually watch some games on TV.
Right.
So that's helped out. But I did go watch, Trail and Meadowbridge, down at Meadowbridge last Friday. And I've watched the Woodrow girls play Princeton. And I did watch the Man and Tug Valley game last night.
Oh, but that was the score didn't indicate it, but it was probably a pretty good game, wasn't it?
Well, no.
That bad, huh?
Man took it to him pretty good. I mean, Man's an interesting story because it wasn't just a few years back. That team was like 0-22 or something.
Right.
I mean, they were really struggling.
Yeah, I watched them play. They were in the hit tournament that year, and they were awful.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're completely opposite now because they are dynamite.
Yeah, they must be.
I mean, they've
good.
got they're deep. They got a big 6'7" kid in the middle that plays inside out. I mean, they really took it to Tug Valley. Now it was that Man, and they were kind of they were primed for this game, and they kind of came out and punched Tug Valley in the face, and Tug Valley didn't respond very well, and so they'll play again, but it'll be at Tug Valley, so we'll see how that one goes. But I tell you right now, there's no doubt about it that the best team in Single A is Man. It's really not even close right now.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier about the teams in Single A and how, when we first looked at that, when they changed the classes, and we first looked at that Single A, I can remember I made the comment. I said, "Well, the Single A looks a lot like the hit tournament with Greater Beckley added into it." But then you start looking at it and you're like, well, wait a minute. Here's a pretty good team here. This is a pretty good team there. Well, that's a good team. So we were looking. There's 6 or 7 or 8 really, really, really good basketball teams in Single A.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And really they all seem to be kind of congregated in Region 3 and Region 4. Right. I mean, there's some good teams up north, but, we got a ton of them down here. And, unfortunately, only 4 of them are going to make it to Charleston, so it's going to be a dogfight. Oh yeah, in sectional and regional play to get there. Where
do you think our boys from Greenbrier West stack up? We always like to keep tabs on them.
Well, I think they're doing. I mean, they have a really good basketball team. There's no doubt about it. And I'm not blowing Jared's ego up. I think they got a really good coach, and I think they're going to be a real factor by the end of the year. Now, they did not play well against James Monroe the other night, which was a little uncharacteristic of that group. All right. The James Monroe wound up beating them in Charmco, which that's an impressive win for James Monroe. Yep. James Monroe seems to be they're in the top, will be the top seed right now, as far as that goes. But the good thing as far as Greenbrier West goes, is if they win their side, which, I'm pretty sure they're on the side with Meadowbridge and that group. Right. They can win their side, then they get to host a game in the regional, so that'll be key there. But that's going to be a dogfight. I mean, still got Greater Beckley, who's been on quarantine, and they've been laid off because of COVID, but they're supposed to be coming back here shortly. I know they're supposed to play Shady Springs, and Mount View's still really good. So, that right now, Single A seems to be kind of the class because that's all we've seen. Right, we really haven't got to see a lot of these other teams. I mean, Shady's playing really good. I mean, the Chapman twins are really hitting their stride. They kind of beat Westside pretty good the other night, but Westside's playing without one of their main guys in Daniel Reed. So that's kind of hampered their situation a little bit. Wyoming East looks pretty good, even though Shady did beat Wyoming East the other night, but Wyoming East is in AA, Shady's in AAA. So Wyoming East has a really good shot of making it to the state tournament as far as the boys go. Right.
We were just talking. You answered the question for us. We were just talking about Greater Beckley. Last game I had seen that they had played was against Magnolia. And then I didn't know if they were shut down again, COVID wise or not. But you answered that for us, and I guess you've heard Midland Trail stop theirs today, boys.
Yeah,
Girls.
That's unfortunate. You know, 'cause that's really they didn't play well the other night against Meadow Bridge. I mean, credit Meadow Bridge. Meadow Bridge did the things they needed to do.
Right.
Mark's got a really good, solid front line there with some young guards, and as these guards get more experience, that's going to be a dangerous team because they're really good inside. They got some big post players, athletic players. I mean, they're going to be tough.
Yeah,
but,
he felt like that they could get better. Yep. Because of his youth out front, he thought he was going to get better.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's where I think the thing with Midland Trail is they're kind of hampered inside. You know, they just don't have any big kids. I mean, they're about 6 foot, about as big as they go. But I tell you right now, there's no two faster guards that I've seen than what Curtis has got. I mean, I tell you, Indy Eads and the Lesser kid. I mean, good Lord. Yeah. I mean, I tell you what, they can get from one end to the other in a heartbeat.
Yep.
So they didn't shoot well that night. Had a bad night. Didn't play well. But some of that was Meadow Bridge. I mean, they kind of put the pressure on them, and Meadow Bridge is a sneaky team. Everybody probably thinks that they're going to overlook Meadow Bridge, and I would not overlook that basketball team. They're a pretty good basketball team.
Yep. And like Mark said, he said the Midland Trail game's always a big game for his kids, and they get up for it. And he said they got up and play pretty well, and so that's good.
Yep.
I know anytime you go over to play, it's always a tough place to play. And
there's no doubt about it.
Kids prepared, that's for sure. But
that's right, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I hope you get to keep watching some games. We're going to try to get out and cover some, but we just don't know who's going to play from night to night.
Yeah, I was going to say. Well, I'm watching Woodrow and Greenbrier East right now while we're talking, and Woodrow's kind of in some COVID situations. I mean, the girls have been kind of decimated with their missing players.
Right.
Woodrow's missing their point guard, the Redfern kid. I mean, the one game he did come back to play, they wound up beating Nitro, Nitro's only loss of the season. Woodrow's a good basketball team, but they just have not had their components, and so their record looks really bad. But once they get all their pieces, they're going to be really hard to handle.
Yep. I'm curious to see how Greenbrier East played tonight. I don't know how long. I know they've been down.
They've been out too.
Yeah, because after they played Oak Hill, that's when they don't know if Oak Hill got it from Greenbrier East or Greenbrier East got it from Oak Hill, but both squads were shut down, so I didn't know how long they had been back, but they've been out of action.
Yeah.
And the night I watched them play against Oak Hill, they're a pretty good looking basketball team, man. They got some kids that can kids that can play. Not only Bimbo's son, but a couple of those other boys that
those Gabbert boys, are tough.
Both of them are good, and so they're Greenbrier East's a pretty tough ball team. So I was anxious to see how they fared.
They're playing without Seams tonight. Adam Seams, who's a really good player, and of course, Woodrow's still playing without Redfern. But I mean, it's a tight game, but it really looks like the first game of the season almost again.
Well, I was getting ready to say you can watch this and see. Yeah, you can watch this to see how Woodrow, but really and truly, you're not getting a true look at what's going on because there's so many kids out and so many have been out for so long. I mean, you just can't walk back out and start playing after 14 days off.
Yeah.
And that's what we were talking about earlier with Oak Hill. That's what they're facing is going back for one day of practice after being off for 14 days and then playing 3 games the rest of the week. So it's going to be like watching. It's going to be like watching noontime basketball.
Yeah. Well, and the bad thing too is we've got this. Maybe not so much in some of the big schools, but especially like Midland Trail. I mean, this affects more than just basketball. I mean, those kids play baseball and other sports. And so, Woodrow's, their quarantine has affected their softball team. Right. Their whole softball program shut down right now. So, it's just and like we talked before, it's a head scratching and it's just a mess.
Yep.
It's a big mess.
Yep. And, well, I'm not going to get all started on it again, but I've been fussing about it enough. I just don't understand. I cannot wrap my head around what thought process there was that went into this, and it's so frustrating because it's bad for the kid. I mean, I got a kid that plays, and of course, I guess I'm a little bit more emotional than the average person, but I feel bad for him because through no fault of his own, through no fault of their own, they're having to sit and stay home for 14 days and do nothing, And he goes out in the yard and shoots. But,
I thought the dynamic was interesting too. About when you had to quarantine, it was 7 days,
right.
But these kids got to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it's like I don't understand.
Yeah,
I don't understand the guidelines. I don't understand what we're doing here.
None of it makes any sense. I just said, and not to put anybody on the spot, but we talked to, and I'm not going to say where they were from, but we talked to like 3 different people from the same organization, and all 3 of them told us something different about our quarantine.
Yeah, exactly.
Quarantine and that, and it's just, it's so confusing, So once I got my test result back Monday, I thought, well, there's no sense of me, sitting around anymore, And
that's right.
Yeah, it's just hard to understand. I don't. But anyway, I don't make the rules, so they're not perfect like they would be if I was making them. Me and you were making the rules, Rusty. We'd be playing right now.
That's right. It'd be easy. That's right.
Yeah,
easy.
So easy. Yeah. All right, Rusty, we're out of time, so we're going to let you go again. Hopefully next week you'll have a little bit more action to report back to us with, and hopefully we get some games in.
I hope so too. I'd like to see it turn around, but I'm not real positive about it.
Yeah, it's me. I'm not real hopeful, but we keep our fingers crossed. And if we don't get any games in, we'll get on here and talk about something. We'll find something to talk about.
That's right. Sounds good, buddy.
All right, Rusty. We appreciate you, man.
All right, my man.
All right, take care, buddy.
Bye, buddy.
Yep,
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Rusty Udy, our Rusty Nails It segment, always good. Rusty gets out there and watches some games, but he's in the same pickle we're in. We don't get to see no games. So Justin, we're out tonight. You ain't talking much.
I'm tired. It's been a long week.
Of course, I talk all the time, too, so you don't get a chance to get a word in. Yeah, you don't get a word in. So, all right, let's get us a quick break in here. We got just a couple more minutes. We'll come back and wrap up the show. Remind you where we're going to be the rest of the week and next week as well. So I hope you'll stay with us here on Courtside with Coach Crist. We'll be back after these messages. Welcome back to Courtside with Coach Crist. Greg Crist, along with Justin Harrison. We're coming to you tonight from the Gino's Pub, and we appreciate Gino's allowing us to come in, do the show from here. It's a great atmosphere, great food. We're enjoying some pizza right now as the show's going on, and encourage you to come on out and give it a try because it's awful good food here. Good wings, good pizza, good sandwiches, and good atmosphere. So we appreciate that. And as we wrap up for tonight, we appreciate the guests we had on tonight. Coach Mark Gladwell from Meadow Bridge, Coach John Kincaid from Midland Trail, and also Rusty Udy, who always comes on and does a great job with the Rusty Nails It segment. I want to remind you again, too, if you'd like to jump in here and help us keep this going for our local youth, we would appreciate any help. And if you would like to sponsor, you can get a hold of us through Facebook or send one of us a message, and we'd be glad to get you on board. So we would appreciate that. Again, we thank our guests for coming on. The rest of the week, it looks like, I think Monday, we are going to be doing provided there's no COVID outbreaks, we're going to be doing, tentatively, be doing the Oak Hill Woodrow girls game from over at Oak Hill. So I hope you'll join us for that. And then next week, of course, we'll have the Courtside with Coach Crist show again on Thursday night. And if we have any games that pop up in between there where we can get in and do a game, we'll probably try to do something because everybody's getting shut down. So we better do them while we got the opportunity, I guess. So and we'll save that Associated Press ranking for next week. It's probably not going to change a whole lot.
Change much.
Yeah, not going to be that many games. So, all right, that's going to do it for tonight. I appreciate Justin being here with me, and I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching us tonight on Courtside with Coach Crist. We look forward to seeing you Monday from Oak Hill girls basketball game, them and Woodrow taking shape. Also, we look forward to seeing you next week on Courtside. So take care, have a great evening, and we'll talk to you on Monday. Good night, everybody.